Perhaps the most significant, crucial and actionable India-US security agreement was signed today at the 2+2 dialogue between the foreign and defense ministers of both countries. The Chinese threat and the strategic partnership between both countries was on the agenda between India and the US at the third 2+2 ministerial dialogue that was concluded today. Speaking at the joint statement, US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has named and shamed China. Pompeo also said that both the US and India are ready to take on every Chinese aggression, and both countries stand firm against Chinese hostilities and its destabilizing activities. Secretary Pompeo also met with his counterpart S. Jaishankar for a bilateral before that, and then with Prime Minister Modi. Both sides also signed a very crucial agreement, or BECA, for Geo-Spatial Cooperation, which I'm going to tell you about in detail right after this.
The basic exchange.
The challenge of defeating the pandemic that came from Wuhan also fed into our robust discussions about the Chinese Communist Party. Our leaders and our citizens see with increasing clarity that the CCP is no friend to democracy, the rule of law, transparency, nor to freedom of navigation, the foundation of a free and open and prosperous Indo-Pacific. I'm glad to say that the United States and India are taking steps to strengthen our cooperation against all manner of threats, and not just those posed by the Chinese Communist Party. Big things are happening as our democracies align to better protect the citizens of our two countries and indeed of the free world. Thanks to Prime Minister Modi and President Trump's leadership and our shared values, our ties are growing stronger day by day. This morning, we visited the National War Memorial to honor the brave men and women of the Indian Armed Forces who have sacrificed for the world's largest democracy, including 20 that were killed by the PLA forces in the Galwan Valley in June. The United States will stand with the people of India as they confront threats to their sovereignty and to their liberty.
15 years after the conclusion of the first U.S.-India defense framework, the defense ties between our two nations remain a key pillar of our overall bilateral relationship. Based on our shared values and common interests, we stand shoulder to shoulder in support of a free and open Indo-Pacific for all, particularly in light of increasing aggression and destabilizing activities by China. I am pleased to report that today we made substantial progress in further strengthening our relationship. During our meetings these last 2 days, we reaffirmed the United States' commitment to a comprehensive and forward-looking defense partnership with India, and discussed opportunities to expand our regional security cooperation, military-to-military interactions, and defense trade relationship. This includes increasing bilateral defense cooperation in the Indian Ocean region, Southeast Asia, and the broader Indo-Pacific.
I deeply appreciate your commitment to our bilateral relations. During the meeting today, we have had comprehensive discussions on key aspects of our bilateral and multilateral cooperation. We considered the major challenges we face, the need for quick economic recovery and growth, prevention of the pandemic rebuild, the global supply chains, and the related issues received obvious priority in our discussions. We continued our discussions on larger regional and global perspective today over the 2+2. Signing the BECA today, after signing the LEMOA in 2016 and COMCASA in 2018, is a significant achievement in that direction.
The Indo-Pacific region was a particular focus of our talks. We reiterated the importance of peace, stability, and prosperity for all countries in this region. As Raksha Mantri stated, this is possible only by upholding the rules-based international order, ensuring the freedom of navigation in international seas, promoting open connectivity, and respecting the territorial integrity and sovereignty of all states. A multipolar world must have a multipolar Asia as its basis. Discussions also covered developments in our neighboring countries. We made clear that cross-border terrorism is completely unacceptable. On Afghanistan, India's stakes in its security and stability are evident, as is our willingness to contribute to international efforts to that end.
Okay, let me tell you about the agreements that have been signed between India and the United States now, and also why they're so important. Like I keep saying, in my view, and I cover defense, this is perhaps the most significant India-US security agreement that's been signed so far. Number one, it's the Basic Exchange and Cooperation Agreement on Geospatial Cooperation. That's the flagship agreement that was signed today, and I'll tell you in detail about it in just a moment. Second, a Memorandum of Understanding for Technical Cooperation in Earth Sciences, climate change, that kind of thing. Number three, they've extended their existing cooperation in the nuclear field, also very important. Number four, an agreement on postal services has been signed. It may seem like nothing, very, very important at that level. And number five, cooperation in Ayurveda and medical cancer research. Now, like I said, the most important agreement that was signed today was the one on the top of that list, which is the Basic Exchange and Cooperation Agreement on Geospatial Cooperation. What does this mean? That's what BECA stands for. Let me tell you what it actually means. It provides for the exchange for the first time of classified real-time map data. India can tap into the huge assets, satellite and airborne sensor assets of the United States. So it's like GPS for real-time targeting by military aircraft and drones. They get very, very precise coordinates for the first time to go and hit targets in Pakistan, China, wherever. It provides super accurate targeting data for India's cruise and ballistic missiles. We get to tap data for the first time, classified targeting map data from the United States' satellites. And this is the most accurate data available in the world to hit terror sites and to hit enemy positions. Okay, now I want to bring in India Today's Geeta, Mohan, Gaurav Sawant and Abhishek Bhalla for more on this story. They've been tracking all the developments in the run-up to this big signing ceremony that happened today. The 2+2 dialogue's been looked at, is being observed, it's being tracked, not just in India and the United States, but you can bet your last buck it's being tracked in Russia, it's being tracked in Pakistan, it's being tracked in China, and I would hazard that it's being tracked everywhere else in the region and the world. Gaurav, Abhishek and Geeta are looking at different aspects of it. Geeta, the big takeaway from the 2+2 this time was, of course, the BECA. It was the, if I can say, it was the sexy agreement that was signed today because it was visible. It is, it's the one everyone's talking about. It's the headline point. But what was, what in your view were the other big substantial takeaways from today's meeting?
Well, absolutely, Shiv. I'll allow you, Gaurav and Bhalla to really discuss the BECA. Let me talk about what this entire visit really means to India and the United States of America. For the US, Shiv, it is a campaign visit. Look at the achievements and the takeaways. I have no doubt that Donald Trump is going to use that in his next campaign rally. The big BECA agreement being signed over here, the forward movement on how to contain China. So that's a big takeaway when it comes to how US would be viewing this, how the US delegation views this entire visit. But to break it down for you, the joint statement speaks volumes. Apart from the agreements, we're talking about bilateral, regional, international. Bilaterally, agreements were signed that would focus on regional and international aspects. COVID-19, how to handle the post-COVID-19 pandemic and recovery. Again, looking at and directed at China. Supply chain resilience was a very important takeaway where they're looking at alternatives to China as part of the global supply chain. And not just India and make in India or manufacturing in America.
Okay.
We're looking at cooperating with like-minded countries like Taiwan, Southeast Asian countries. Pakistan and terrorism, another very important aspect for India.
Okay.
While China was important for US and India, Pak terror certainly for India, Shiv.
Absolutely. Abhishek, the Basic Exchange and Cooperation Agreement has taken a long time to arrive. It was finally signed today. What were the reactions? We heard Defence Minister Rajnath Singh's statement, but what are you hearing from the armed forces? Are they excited about the new capabilities that this agreement will bring?
Lots of excitement, Shiv, and especially because there was a lot of resistance a few years back about this agreement. India had been saying that, sharing classified information can be a problem. But finally, there was a breakthrough and there was consensus on both the sides to make sure that this can be used in a constructive manner. And from here onwards, be it the Indian military in the air, on land or in water, will have much more pinpointed, precise locations if they need to target, say, an enemy platform, or also more importantly, terror hideouts like the ones in Balakot. So from here onwards, of course, a big breakthrough as far as military cooperation between two countries is concerned. And all this humongous data that the US has through its satellite, which is analyzed for hours by military experts, can now be shared real time with the Indian military.
Very, very important, and you will hear more about this agreement and its applications as we move forward. Abhishek and Geeta, thank you for joining me. Gaurav continues to stay with me because we've got...
Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kamal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.